Now to a story developing. At least 4 people are dead and several others kidnapped after Houthi rebels sank a ship in the Red Sea. This is the second Red Sea attack in a week. I'm Scripps News' Holly Furfer, and this is On the Scene. Scripps News national correspondent Alex Miller live in New York with the latest on this. And Alex, how did all of this unfold?
Well, we know that the Iran-backed terror group launched 2 attacks this week, the one most recently killing 4 people. European vessels rescued about half a dozen people when they bombed this ship. Now, there are about a dozen people who seem to have been taken hostage. Now, this is the first time this past week that we have seen hostage taken by the Houthis since November of 2023. So it is quite a big deal. There's concern about escalation regarding this. And the ship that was attacked just a couple of days ago, it was a Liberian flagged ship, but both of the ships that were attacked this week were owned by the Greeks. So you can see why the Europeans have been feeling the need to get involved. The German foreign minister asking the Iranians to get involved because of their influence over the Houthis. They're the ones who fund the Houthis. And so they said that they expect Iran to exert its influence on the Houthis and put an end to it. The U.S. has a truce right now with the Houthis, but it doesn't seem to have extended to other nations. Still, the U.S. is condemning this attack, saying in part that they're calling for the immediate and unconditional safe release of these hostages. The Houthis, the embassy says, continues to show the world why the United States was right to label them as a terrorist organization.
Minister Netanyahu was in Washington, and his counterparts in Doha are working on a deal to end the war with Hamas. Could this be related? And really, overall, what does it say about the fragility of Middle East peace right now?
Yeah, I think there is at least a thought that this is somewhat related to Prime Minister Netanyahu's visit when it comes to the timing of these attacks. But you have another Iranian-backed group, the Houthis, saying that they are defending a different Iranian-backed terror organization, Hamas. And that is what is leading the UN Security Council to talk about their concerns about a potential escalation here. Listen to what the envoy to Yemen said.
We are now, with grave concern, seeing an escalation in the Red Sea with attacks on 2 commercial ships earlier this week by Ansar Allah, resulting in civilian loss of life and casualties, as well as the potential for environmental damage.
Now, these aren't the only missiles that we have seen the Houthis launch. They are directly aiming at Israel. Over the weekend, they did so, Israel retaliating by hitting 3 of their key ports. But the Houthis are continuing to launch missiles at civilian targets in Israel, attempting today to hit Ben Gurion Airport. They did not do so. There were no casualties or injuries. But it is interesting to note that the firing between Israel and the Houthis continues as we are seeing what is happening in the Red Sea.
Alex, these ships were carrying cargo. Do we know what they were carrying and how much of an impact we might see on shipping costs from something like this?
Yeah, we haven't seen shipping costs recover since October 7th. This is a huge issue. We will continue to see the prices rise, in part because these ships now need to be diverted to go around Africa. They're avoiding the Suez Canal, and so that makes everything a lot more expensive. Again, regardless of the port, the Houthis say that they're targeting ships that are trying to get towards Israel, but regardless of the port destination, we know that this will still drive up the cost of shipping.
All right, Scripps News national correspondent Alex Miller live for us. Thank you for that information.